Hello plant parents, I'm Anu from Nurturing Green, and today I bring a freshly brewed episode from our very famous category, Plantopedia, where I talk the A to Z of plant and where you get to know everything about how is your plant doing and is it from the right source or not. And today I'll be talking about one of the very famous plants we have all over India, and not just India, all over the world, and it's known as Areca Palm. I think it rings the bell in you. It's a very common plant across, and if you want to keep watching this episode till the late, you have to do one thing for me. Do subscribe to the channel below and hit the bell button so you keep getting the updates from the Plantopedia and My Plant My Baby series, where we talk about the plant care, know your plant, and everything on for you to make good, healthier and greener babies. Alright, let's go on and talk about the Areca Palm. I think every house has it. You see it on the landscapings, you see it indoors, you see it in the offices. You are in Chennai, you see it. You are in Delhi, you see it. You are in Bombay, you see it. You are in Kolkata, you see it. It's actually all over India that you can easily find the Areca Palm, but you don't know if it's a good plant or not. Should I buy it at a 50 rupees or should I buy it at a 500 rupees? And that's where we'll talk about. So basically, Areca comes from the tropical areas, especially the places where the humidity is high, which are usually the ocean belts. For example, Goa, Bombay, or Kerala, or Kolkata. They are grown very well. That's where they've been inherently been grown from, and they thrive and propagate in such areas. In India, they've been grown all over across India now, but some of the major hubs where it's been traditionally growing is they come from Kolkata. Now they were grown in Bangalore. Recently, they have really been scaled in Pune because of the weather, and now it's been grown. And now it's also grown in controlled environments in places like Delhi also. And before we talk about these four major points, let me also talk about that these palms are actually one of the most versatile plants in the world. So if I count down the list, there are hundreds of such things, but let me just talk about some of the main points. One, that it's a beautiful decor piece, so if it's been kept indoors, they beautifully decorate your thing. It comes in so many sizes. So right from being a tabletop to a semi-floor to actually a floor plant, it can actually cover all the areas. So perfectly for your decor. Because I'm in Delhi and because I am living in a continuous state of pollution, Areca is a must-have for anybody where the pollution levels are above 100. And right now there are more than 60 plus cities where the AQI today is above 100 plus in India. And since it's an air purifier, it's a natural air purifier, it becomes one of the most sought after plants in India. A must have actually, not just sorted. You should have one Areca in every bedroom. Obviously the size and stuff should be important, but you should have one Areca at least in your bedroom. If not in your bedroom, at least in your kids or your parents' room, because they are the people who are most prone to such pollution effects. So a beautiful air purifier, a decor plant, a very low maintenance plant, being pet friendly, it comes with many such features. Let me quickly now talk about what are these four things you should look at whenever you're buying this thing, because even if you know that it's necessary and you need it, you don't know where to go and buy it. So the first thing you should look at is that how healthy your plant is. So basically, these are different plants being clubbed together. Each comes from one seed. So you might have a 10 seed plant, a 20 seed plant, or a 50 seed plant into a 2 feet height, a 3 feet height, or a 10 feet height. All will have different price points, right? So whenever you're buying from anybody, always look at how many number of stems it has. So a 20 seeds 3 feet plant versus a 50 seed 3 feet plant, the price will almost be difference of 50% there around, right? So if this is 100, this will be 200. So always look at how healthy your plant is and what size you require. So if you require a 5 feet 50 stem plant, you should look at from that perspective. If you're looking at a small corner, look at a 35 or a 30 stems one. In India, there's been no standardization which has been done, and Nurturing Green now has taken this that we'll be industry first to talk about the specs, and we'll clear that what stems, number of stems we are giving in. So always whenever you're going and buying it from a garden center or a nursery, question it that check if it's a healthy plant or not, and the definition of healthy will be that how many stems and how bushy it is from that. The second important aspect you should look at is do you need it for an indoor or do you need it for an outdoor? Now nobody even talk about it, and especially the vendor side, because they have their vested interest in it. But if you're growing this and you want it for indoors, it should be grown indoors. If it's an outdoor setup, or you want to put it as a landscape product in your terrace or in your garden or outside the areas, it should be outdoor grown. Now, if it's indoor grown, the whole dynamics changes. This is I'm standing in a controlled environment of Nurturing Green where you can see all the plants on the backside. They've been grown in this poly fan and pad controlled environments, right? So here the temperature, the light, the food, everything has been controlled. There's no bug which comes in and put on it because it's been controlled and covered from all sides. Versus being kept outdoors on a barren land where there are the bugs been coming on it, or the pests coming on it, eating up the leaves, or the fog coming and sitting and making it brown, or there's no such control, so the quality has not been specified. So one big aspect comes is always look at if it's grown indoor and outdoor, because if it's grown outdoor and you bring it indoor, your plant will die in all probabilities. And this is what happens to most of the people, that you buy a garden center from a garden center and you don't question if it's grown indoor or grown outdoor, and you buy that, keep it in your bedroom where the lux levels are at 1000. It's been grown at 15 to 18,000 lux, and suddenly it goes for a shock and your plant dies. So always the second thing you should check while you buying your plant or looking at your plant is it grown indoor or is it grown outdoor? The third important aspect, which again very little people notice and talk about, is the food and the media in it. Now, if you're buying it from a Kolkata, it's been grown in that mitti soil, or in Bangalore, it's in red soil. But if you buy from Pune, or you're buying it from a good garden center, it's been grown in coco peat. Now makes a huge difference again in terms of the costing, in terms of the growth, in terms of the porosity, in terms of how the soil becomes so heavy if it's been bring indoors. The soil by nature has been always used for outdoors, but if you look at internationally and look at the good garden center, they never use it indoors. For indoor, you should always look at doing the coco peat based or soilless based media. So brings a huge difference around, and if it's grown indoors and in a coco peat, it thrives well. If it's grown or kept indoors in a soil, you'll see again smell coming in, destroying your carpets, or the porosity will go down, and so on and so forth. You will have many such things and problems coming in with this media. So that's the third point, important aspect whenever you look at it. Is it soil or is it a thing? Soilless media. Fourth important aspect you should look at is from the aspect of is your plant bug free or there are bugs on it. Now a lot of people don't see it. They just say कि Areca दे दो, ना stem check करते हैं, ना soil check करते हैं, ना indoor grown हुआ है, outdoor grown हुआ है, ना उसमें bug है कि pest है कि नहीं. Now if it's an outdoor grown, it's been prone to bugs. You'll see a lot of these red spots coming in. There are a lot of these bugs which have eaten up. So see if the leaves are fresh or not. If you go and buy it from anything in IKEA or any of the garden centers, you'll see that it's been grown indoors and there are fresh leaves all around. And that's what happens if you grow it indoors. You'll not see brown leaves coming in, or there are tips burns, or there are pest bites on it. So these are all the ways on where people lax, especially the growing community around in India especially. They're grown by farmers and they don't put this SOPs and controlled things. So you see nitrogen deficiency, तो आपको tip burn दिखेगा. Outdoor grown हो रहा है, so that's why you'll see the pest eating up the whole leaves. Or sometimes what happens is that they don't use organic food, so they will not use basa clothes. What they'll put it is just core minerals. What happens with that is that there's abnormal growth happening, and that's why you'll see one plant too big and then the other too small. Again, there's no evenness around it, so there's no symmetry or standards around it. So that's the fourth point you should always look at around that. Is your plant you're buying a bug-free or a bug? It does have a bug or not? So these are 4 important aspects you should look at and you should know when you're buying or having your Arecas. If you've already bought it and if you already have it, you should watch our plant care section where we'll be talking all about its care, how much to water, what placement it should have, etc. so that you can grow healthier and greener babies around. Thank you so much for watching this series. If you want to give me any input or have any problem with your Areca, feel free to put me on our Instagram DM or the comments, or maybe on the YouTube. If you are seeing this, just put me a comment so that I can know if there is any other problem you guys are facing or anything else you want to know on your plant, which I can talk about. There's so much to more talk about, but in case you have such questions, I'll be happy to put in another video about it. So that's from our side. Keep growing healthy babies. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.